But yeah, my beats, they are hard.
Let's get into a little football talk here as we get towards the end of this segment with you and I. Super Bowl's coming up, obviously. Kansas City versus Tampa Bay, Super Bowl 55, and we've got 54 years of highlights and information. I'm sure that anyone could go over, and I would, I would love to spend the whole show just going over stuff with anybody. But we've got a few HBCU guys who are going to actually be playing in this contest. It just so happens that both teams have guys. So that's a positive. Tampa has a pair of guys from North Carolina Central, and Kansas City has a pair of guys from correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm where they're from again, Drew. The guys from Kansas City.
Let me go back to my page where I had that. And now my internet wants to run a little bit slower than normal. I believe Prairie View. Did you say Prairie View?
No.
Okay.
I don't think. No, they're not from.
Okay, you've got South Carolina. You got two from South Carolina State, one from Prairie View, two from Central.
Right. So it's Tampa that has 3 players, and so you've got the names on all those guys, correct?
Yes.
My sheet, I've lost it. I had it up.
Antonio Hamilton of South Carolina State. Alex Brown, South Carolina State.
And hold on, those 2 play for Kansas City, correct?
I believe so.
This is great radio.
Quentin Bell, Prairie View. Dick Leverett, Central. Ryan Smith, Central.
And so the last 3 there play for Tampa. Now, Bell is actually, I don't think he's, well, I've seen, the last thing I saw is that he's not technically on the
active roster.
On the practice squad, but the other 4 guys are all active roster players. Of course, Bell, former standout at Prairie View A&M, where he was an all-conference player. And so it continues the tradition of having some HBCU guys in the Super Bowl. And we were kind of going through some various names and just kind of, spitballing a little bit in terms of, greatest moment, greatest performances. Before we get to some of the names, there are 3 Super Bowl MVPs, only 3, that attended HBCUs. You have the first was Richard Dent, Tennessee State grad. MVP of Super Bowl 20, won by the Bears. Then you've got, of course, Doug Williams from Grambling, quarterback who won Super Bowl 22. He was the MVP. That was Super Bowl 22. Of course, no one can forget that game. And then the following year, you had Jerry Rice for San Francisco. He of Mississippi Valley State fame. He was the MVP of Super Bowl 23 with an 11-catch, 215-yard, and a touchdown performance in that contest. Pop quiz, if you can remember who San Francisco played that year in '88, Drew.
That would be Cincinnati.
No, you would be incorrect. The following year was Cincinnati.
88?
88, yes.
So that was 89 when they played San Francisco.
San Francisco played Cincinnati.
That's what I mean. When they played Cincinnati,
yeah.
Who did they? Denver. No, Denver was 80. Yeah.
Denver?
86, 87. Denver went back-to-back.
Went back-to-back years. Okay.
Yes. Am I correct?
You're right. And it was a blowout in both games.
Yes.
Yeah, Doug Williams blew him out the one year, and then the following year, Jerry Rice and 49ers came and blew him out.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app, as we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
This is Brian Fulford. A.D. Drew and I are co-hosts of the BCSN Sports Wrap. We talk about all things related to HBCU athletics. From the games, teams, coaches, and fan interest stories, we cover it all. You can find our shows on Facebook at BCSN Sports Wrap, YouTube at MyJBN Online, and everywhere you listen to podcasts like Anchor, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also find the show on the Jericho Broadcast Network's app. Make sure to download. We look forward to you joining the conversation and being a part of the show.
It's like a loop machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
Let's talk about the number of Super Bowl champions, Drew, for a second. We've got 4-time and 3-time Super Bowl champions at the top of the list, right?
Correct.
Of course, we've got John Stallworth and Mel Blount, members of Pittsburgh's 4 Super Bowl championships in the 70s.
Steel curtain teams.
Right. I recall when I went and looked at the stats here, John Stallworth, he's from Alabama A&M. There was a lot of dispute. I think people say Lynn Swann, I think, was the MVP of 79. But I think a lot of people felt like one of those years, John Stallworth should have been MVP, maybe based on yardage. Listen to the numbers by Stallworth in the 78 and 79 Super Bowl. In 78, he had 3 catches for 115 yards and 2 touchdowns. In 79, 2 catches for 121 yards, 3 catches for 121 yards and a touchdown. So,
and these were teams that would run heavy with Franco Harris and Rocky Bleier at running back.
Right. And I've heard people say that the reason Swann won I think Swann was the MVP of 78.
SC.
Well, possibly that. Plus, that was the game where, remember the video or the highlight of
the catch,
catching the ball while he was being tackled and sort of catching it as he's stumbling, falling over the defensive back, and still comes up with the ball. and Stallworth really didn't have a highlight that looked that ridiculous in terms of like how in the hell did he make that catch? You know, he didn't have that kind of moment. So it brings up the general question for you, Drew. Which Super Bowl play, not performance, play is most memorable by an HBCU player? Super Bowl play, or the top play in a Super Bowl by an HBCU player. What do you think of first?
I think of the eyes.
The eyes? Okay.
From the interception, that just that shot. Oakland, Minnesota. It's 76 season, 77 Super Bowl. Which Willie was that? And I get them confused whether it was Davis or Brown.
That was Willie Brown.
Willie Brown.
Yeah.
Yes.
Willie Brown.
That
was
that
a Super
interception,
Bowl
that pick six.
Yeah, that was Super Bowl 10 in 77.
Yes. That whenever you watch the old highlights on ESPN or NFL Network, that particular play is the play that always sticks in my mind. Super Bowl singular plays. It just kind of stick in my mind, especially if you talk about a defensive play.
I was looking up earlier. I was trying to see, did Willie Brown score a touchdown off that play?
Yes, I believe that was a pick six.
That was a pick six. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was pretty impressive there. And that was the only Willie Brown, of course, from Grambling State. That was the only Super Bowl that he won. He was actually a part of two Super Bowls. Just so happened he was a part of Super Bowl I. That was Green Bay defeated the Raiders that year. And then he was a part of Super Bowl 10. And he did that at the age of 37, Drew. 37. Wow. Right. At the age of 37 is what he did. I was kind of pull up the quick stats for that. That was 77 or that was 76?
76 season, 77 Super Bowl.
Yep. Yep, 76 Raiders that won the Super Bowl. Yep, that Raiders team only lost. It's interesting. I'm looking at their log from that entire season. My God, they only lost one game that year. That was in week number 4 against New England. And then they just ran off the rest of the year as if finished 16-1. Many people probably think that's one of the greatest Raider team ever. For me, Drew, I'm going to go John Taylor. I'm going to go John Taylor's game-winning catch in the 1989 Super Bowl. Don't get me to guess, and I guess that's going to be Super Bowl 24 because Rice was the MVP the year before. So, yeah, that would have been Super Bowl 24. That was Montana to Taylor.
Yes.
Taylor was a Delaware State grad, was also one of the MEAC all-time top 50 wide receivers, a 2-time conference player of the year, I believe, 3-time Super Bowl champion. 3-time Super Bowl champion. He and Jerry Rice are both 3-time Super Bowl champions.
And those three came together.
Those three came together.
But Jerry Rice played in one additional Super Bowl.
Yes, people forget about that. I sure did when we were talking about it earlier.
Yes, he was part of the Raiders teams that lost to Tampa the year that Tampa won the Super Bowl.
Right. Just quickly, multiple Super Bowl winners include Shannon Sharp from Savannah State. He's won 3, right? He with Denver and Baltimore. Nate Newton,
3 with Dallas.
AMU, won 3 at Dallas. We mentioned Taylor. We mentioned Stallworth. Jerry Rice, of course, had 3. Mel Blount of the Steelers, of course, we mentioned him. He had 4. I think that might have been the multiple. A guy like Ed Too Tall Jones from Tennessee State. Now, he played in 3 Super Bowls. He lost with Dallas the 2 years that they played Pittsburgh. And then he won one of those years where Denver defeated Pittsburgh. Or actually, that might have been earlier than that. That might have been like 72?
He didn't come to the league in 74.
Okay, so this.
So he was on the 77 team.
Okay, so yeah, this has been one of those early years for Dallas.
Yeah, and you forgot one. You forgot one multiple winner.
Yeah, go ahead.
Live. Think about Live.
Ooh.
Think about Live. The show Live. Live with Michael Strahan, bro.
Oh, I'm like, he's not even on that show anymore. That's why I'm like, huh? I'm like, I don't even say he was there for a minute. He was there for a cup of coffee. He didn't stay long.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's only won a Super Bowl 1 time.
He won 2.
No, sir, he did not. The first Super Bowl that he played in was actually against the Baltimore Ravens in Tampa, matter of fact, in 2007. That was a team led by that was the great, no, wait a minute. The Giants. That team. Oh man, Giants. That team was led by Kerry Collins. That's right. Kerry Collins, and I think they played Baltimore team that was led by Joe Flacco, if I'm not mistaken. Or was that the
Yeah, that was Kerry Collins.
Kerry Collins?
Because they lost to Tom Brady.
Huh?
No, that's pre.
No, they lost the ball. Yeah, I'm telling you, they lost to Baltimore. That was Ray Lewis, Baltimore. Trent Dilfer, the best, one of the best defensive teams. People think.
Yes.
Yeah, that was early 2000, and then he came back in 2007.
Yes.
And I think it was his last season or 2. He was either going to retire afterwards.
He retired after the Super Bowl.
Okay, retired afterwards, so he can get started on this on his movie or his TV career. He retired, and that's where they defeated New England, prevented them from getting the perfect season. That was that Super Bowl.
Yes.
All right.
So those are only the
Yeah. And so let me see some other names that we had on the list. Of course, we mentioned Robert Mathis from Alabama A&M, played with my Colts. Super Bowl 43, I believe that was. We also mentioned Art Shell, who won a pair of Super Bowls in 77 and 81. Willie Lanier from Morgan State. He was a Kansas City Chief. He was actually a loser in Super Bowl 1, and then he won in Super Bowl 4 with the Chiefs.
Did you get Harry Carson?
Harry Carson won a Super Bowl in 86.
Art Shell.
I think I just mentioned Art Shell. I did mention Art Shell.
Buck Buchanan.
Buck Buchanan, a teammate of Willie Lanier's in those Super Bowls, Super Bowl 1 and Super Bowl 4. So,
and you forgotten the elephant in the room.
I did.
Yes.
Walter.
Yes, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, Walter Payton won. Jackson State, obviously, but he won with Chicago. Did not score a touchdown, although Jim McMahon scored 2. Who else? Refrigerator Perry scored
Even Matt Suey scored a touchdown.
Matt Suey scored a rushing touchdown. Everybody named Mama scored a touchdown.
But Walter.
Yeah, one of the big disappointments of that season, and just that moment. You know, a guy who basically carried that Chicago franchise to that Super Bowl for all those years did not end up getting a touchdown.
And if we left somebody off this list,
oh, I'm sure we did.
Please let us know at DRB365 or BCSN Drew on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm sure, and you know, that'll help us going forward, because obviously every year we'll kind of add names to this. I mean, this is we'll always talk about,
because there are plenty of role players out there. These are just some of the more famous names that we've kind of thrown out.
Yeah, we'll always come back to
I've got one, and Lord forgive me, if he ever sees this, he's gonna kill me for not mentioning that he played in the Super Bowl.
Okay,
that would be the only Tuskegee University football player that ever played in the Super Bowl. Ken Woodard played for Denver in 1986.
Okay.
Yes.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
But you stay